he is late, but I'd like to apologise to everybody in that theatre. Sorry, my bad. Hello and welcome to Grumpy Old Crone with me, Annie, where I will be talking and whinging about things that don't matter all that much in the witchcraft and pagan community for about the next half an hour, give or take. So yeah, come along and let's see what's what. So it does feel like longer between videos than it actually has been, probably because I recorded the Publishing Goblin unboxing early so that I could publish it while I went to London for a weekend with my daughter. So I kind of feel like I'm a bit out of the loop, actually. Also, I don't know whether something is up with astrology or what, but I have been feeling really out of sorts lately and I'm not enjoying that at all. A few other friends have said that they're kind of struggling too, so you know, at least I'm not alone in this. But anybody else? Is it just me? Anybody who might be into astrology, who might know an answer as to why, and if you could please tell me when it's going to bloody well stop, that would be lovely, because I'm frankly getting kind of fed up of it by now. Anyway, onwards and upwards to today's witchy aesthetic. So my daughter asked for some company on a little shopping expedition today, so I ended up going into town when I wasn't expecting to. It was extremely warm for the beginning of May, so we stopped into a nice air-conditioned shop for a bit of cake and a cup of tea. That shop also happened to be a bookshop, but we didn't buy anything. Honest, I promise we didn't buy anything. Mainly because just a couple of days later, I'm going to tell you about what did happen while we were in London, but this time we didn't buy anything. And while I was waiting for my daughter in the coffee shop line, a lovely woman behind me caught my attention and pointed at my tote bag, which was the Museum of Witchcraft and Magic in Boscastle tote bag, which I've commented before. I always seem to get people talking about whenever I wear it, this bag. It's like a conversation piece. And this lady said, "I've always wanted to go there. Is it any good?" And I started waxing lyrical about how beautiful Boscastle is and how good the museum is. And I kind of stopped. I caught myself and I stopped myself mid-flow and I kind of cocked my head to one side and I said, "Are you one of us?" And she stepped back and indicated her flowing dress. She'd got like a gorgeous statement pendant and loads of silver jewellery. And she said, obviously, while laughing. At the time, I was wearing a pair of flowing tie-dyed jersey dungaree type things with a big rose quartz pendant and some silver jewellery. And there was just a lovely moment between us of appreciating that we both quietly coded our clothing and accessories as witches when we got out of bed that morning. We had a lovely chat while we were waiting for our drinks, talking about witchcraft bucket lists and new places to go, the importance of not forgetting our history and so forth. It was really lovely. And it made me think that it made me think about how we dress and how we use that to signal to others who we are, and how actually, while I disagree that you should wear a uniform, there is a point to it, you know, to looking a particular way, because it's kind of important sometimes about the messages that we send. And whilst many of us identify as solitary practitioners, there is a joy in meeting other people with a similar mindset and a similar set of beliefs. I think it was C.S. Lewis, famously not a pagan person, who once wrote, "Friendship is born at that moment when one person says to another, 'What? You too? I thought I was the only one.'" And it's a beautiful thing, this meeting of minds, but often we have to meet people in person first, and then it's this weird kind of tricky sort of tightrope, you know, trying to figure out if asking whether they're the same as you in some regard will open up a friendship or anger or judgment. And this is where that old witchy aesthetic actually comes in handy. Now, I'm not talking about wandering around wearing a pointy hat and clutching a broomstick whenever you leave the house. But I'm not even talking about dressing in some kind of gothic style, because there are a whole lot of people who are part of the gothic subculture without being even slightly witch-centric. But it's that gently alternative look. You know what I mean? The asymmetrical hem, the collarless shirt, the crystal jewellery, the long hair. It's a quiet statement that says, I'm a bit out there and I am safe to talk to. And that's really useful when you meet somebody else. So for all of our advanced technologies, humanity can be literally just as tribal as we were thousands and thousands of years ago. And recognising someone of your own tribe, I think, is an utterly joyful thing. I mean, I don't think that we should all dress to advertise who we are. For one thing, as discussed a couple of weeks ago, it isn't always safe. But I do think it's a powerful argument for dressing in a way that pleases us, ourselves. It's not going to always mean that you can recognise a witch in the street because she's wearing a dress from holy clothing, but it does mean that you can start a conversation from a point of assuming that this other person likes things which are a little different to the mainstream. I mean, worst case, the other person goes away happy that you like their neat new dress. But for me, it was a really lovely little meeting. I really wish I'd been brave enough to tell her that I ran this channel, but it kind of felt a bit weird, you know? So I didn't. I've never liked those people who introduce themselves and then try to make you buy their new album immediately. And it felt a little bit like that. But fueled by a mutual love of beautifully draped clothing and statement pendants and lots of silver jewellery. It was just a really wonderful moment of connection with somebody who seemed to be really very cool indeed. So, Rena from Waterstones, if you see this, let's be friends, because you really strike me as an incredibly cool person and I'd love to be your friend. Right, okay, we're going to go on today and we're going to go to the meats and 2 potatoes of today. So, as you will probably have got if you watched last week's video, I was off and last weekend and I had the best sort of little adventure last weekend where I went away with my lovely daughter to London, and we had a brilliant time. I may have also hit some of the esoteric bookshops in London quite hard, and consequently we may be eating beans on toast for a little while. Sorry, Mr. Grumpy Old Crone. Oops. He's a good man. He doesn't judge me on things like that. So, I had seen all of the adverts for the History of the Tarot exhibition that was on at the Warburg Institute in London, and I really wanted to go. But sadly, there just didn't seem to be time for us to go and do this, and whilst I know that Mr. Grumpy Old Crone would have happily gone with me, I also knew that looking at antique tarot cards was not his idea of a good time. And while I was mentioning this to Grumpy Young Daughter, which is a bit of a misnomer there, she's actually very happy sort of a person, she mentioned that she'd love to take me to London for the weekend as a birthday treat because she never knows what to buy me anyway. So I asked if while we were there we could maybe look at some esoteric bookshops at the same time. And she was in. She was totally in. She's a very tolerant daughter. What can I say? So we discovered that the only weekend we were both free before the exhibition ended was last weekend. And when I started looking for a hotel, I soon realised that there was a little wee problemette. And that little wee problemette was that it also happened to be the London Marathon. Oops. So all hotel rooms were at least twice the price, mostly 3 to 4 times the price. Whoa! Oh, God. So, anyway, we thought laterally and we ended up on the outskirts of London and then we commuted in. And actually, it worked beautifully. We got into London on Friday afternoon and my beloved daughter suggested that we should look for tickets to a show. What else would a witch in London want to see? Wicked! I really wanted to see Wicked. So this was just an amazing show. I am well known within my family for not being a musical sort of a person. My ex-in-laws, oh, poor people, my ex-in-laws took me to see Miss Saigon. Oh my God, right, what? Early 90s, probably? Yeah, anyway, Miss Saigon with the rest of the family, and that was really early in my first marriage. Apparently, and who knew, the end of Miss Saigon, I'm cringing inside just thinking about this. The end of Miss Saigon is apparently not a surprise comedic moment. Who knew? And when I burst out laughing at the offstage gunshot, the entire theatre turned to look at me. Oh God, yes. My ex-in-laws didn't talk to me 4 weeks afterwards, and I never went back to a West End musical again. In my defence, it was so very overly dramatic that I thought it had to be funny, right? And it was funny, well, to me, anyway. 30 years late, but I'd like to apologise to everybody in that theatre. Sorry, my bad. Anyway, I am happy to report that this time I laughed in all the correct places in Wicked, and I managed not to sing along, unlike the very loud woman from Texas in the row in front of us who thought her singing was obviously better than the leading ladies. Spoiler, it wasn't. And how do I know she was from Texas? Because she was loud and she was really very eager to tell everyone, and slightly disappointed that no one was very interested in that fact. But still, I shed a quiet tear during Defying Gravity, felt righteously angry during No Good Deed, and made a lot of ooh, ah noises with my daughter over the gorgeous costumes, and then I clapped until my hands hurt. It was amazing. Thank you, Victoria Apollo. You were great. And so the next day was a bookshops and tarot exhibition. And oh boy, did we have fun. The exhibition itself was really, really good. Lots of cards that I would never have been able to see in any other setting, with a really informed and knowledgeable amount of information. I came away with several photographs, not only of the cards, but also of the information boards, as I didn't want to forget anything. I suspect that a lot of esoteric content creators in the UK have gone to look at this exhibition, as I've seen a lot of photos from other people. I'm really glad that tarot is being studied more fully now and being looked at from many different viewpoints. And this exhibition really showcased that. And then we did bookshops. I had a bucket list of bookshops that I want to do while I was in London, and I think anybody who knows anything about esoteric bookshops in London will be not even slightly surprised to hear that my bucket list was Atlantis, Treadwell's and Watkins. Okay, I don't think I was alone in this either, as some of the faces were popping up on the same pilgrimage that we made. So I made a couple of such rookie mistakes, and I'm telling you this so that you don't make the same mistake I made. Do not buy the heaviest book at the first bookshop of the day. That was my first mistake, and the one that I would recommend you don't do. I was doing mostly okay until we just about come to the end of our ability to walk and function. I got an armful of books in the last shop of the day, which was Watkins for us. I was just about to go and pay when my darling daughter said, and she's a good girl, honestly, she's fabulous. She said, "Have you been downstairs yet?" Downstairs? Downstairs, said I. Oh man, that's where all the stuff I couldn't leave behind was. Damn it. I had to put some stuff back. Sorry, Rachel Pollack, another day, so I could afford to buy some of the stuff down in the Watkins basement that I just couldn't bear to leave without. Ho-hum. We finished up the weekend on a whole day in the V&A Museum, mostly looking at textiles. We spent ages in the fashion gallery peering at teeny-tiny embroideries. My hint of the day is to put your phone flat against the glass in front of the exhibit and then zoom in to catch the detail in low light. We admired bloomers and wondered why Vivienne Westwood didn't finish her hems better. Next to that, our favourite bit was the casting gallery, which I didn't even know existed. It's a joy to our woke little hearts because it's full of things. And yeah, I hope you'll understand where I'm coming from with this when I say it was full of things that English people did not actually steal for once. We just took plaster casts of and then left where they belonged. Much better. Elgin marble custodians, please note. So my discovery of the day, I'm still quite excited about this, was finding a cast of the tomb of Eleanor of Aquitaine, who is my all-time favourite queen. She was a badass in every single sense of the word and at every possible occasion. I absolutely love her. And I spotted her tomb cast from outside the gallery because that shape and that figure is engraved on my memory. So I went and I had a total fangirl moment with a woman who died 821 years ago last month. Here's a picture of my daughter posing beside her. Note that I was so excited about the tomb that I managed to cut my daughter's head off. Whoops! the relative importance of my daughter to the plaster cast of a tomb of a queen who died 8 centuries ago is not lost on her after seeing this photo. Lucky she's still talking to me, frankly. Oh well. And then we came home on a train filled to bursting point with football fans, marathon runners, several people playing music and TV programmes out loud on their phones, and 2 women eating incredibly smelly burgers. That should be illegal. Anyway, we got home and we had a splendid time. Do you want to see? My book haul? Okay, so here's the book haul. I don't know where to start, actually. I'm just going to start at the top of this pile. This is not the order I bought them in. So first up, this is East Anglian Witches and Wizards by Michael Howard. Now, if you've listened to me for a while, you know that if you listen to my accent and you understand English accents, you'll know that I'm East Anglian. And you don't find that much stuff. You find loads and loads of kind of like the Southwest witchcraft tradition, not so much on East Anglia. So I was very excited to find this. The talk on the back says, in 1643, several men and women appeared in court at Chelmsford, Essex, charged with practising the curious combination of conjuration, magic and lechery. The chief witness was a servant woman, Martha Hurrell, who claimed that she and a group of other people met regularly in various country houses to practice magic together with a conjurer or summoner of spirits, described as a man in black apparel with brown hair and a blackish beard. So, loads of stuff. Historical, my area of interest. Michael Howard, always a good read. And, oh, it just looks so good. So good. Looking forward to that tremendously. Next up is Slavic Witchcraft, Old World Conjuring, Spells and Folklore by Natasha Helvin. Now, I'm not Slavic. I have no Slavic blood whatsoever. I do really love Slavic witchcraft and Slavic folklore, though. They aren't part of my practice because East Anglia is my practice. Doesn't stop me being really interested in wanting to learn about it. So that's why I got this. This one was a Watkins one, I think. And it's just got loads and loads of Slavic curses and spells and charms. It's just amazing. So I'm really looking forward to that. Loads and loads of people have asked me, and it's another one of those common questions that comes up in my comments section. When I describe myself as a Gaian, they ask me what that means for me. And I always say, go read James Lovelock, Gaia, and that will kind of give you the basic outline. So I'm always interested in other people's opinions on James Lovelock and Gaia. And that's when I got this, which is Lovelock and Gaia, Signs of Life. And this one was a second-hand one from Treadwell's, I think. And it just looks great. It looks like something that's condensed down a whole lot of Lovelock's work. And I'm hoping that once I've read it, parts of this will be quotable so that I can do a well-sourced little video about Gaianism. So that is sounding good. Then, just because I can never find it around here anywhere, I got Besom, Stang and Sword, A Guide to Traditional Witchcraft, The Sixfold Path and the Hidden Landscape. Whilst I'm not a super traditional witch, my practice does edge towards that a little bit more than other forms, and I'm always interested in reading around, even if it's not something that I'm going to fold into my own practice. Being aware of what other people are doing and other people's worldviews, really interesting. So traditional folk witchcraft, traditional witchcraft, not traditional folk witchcraft, and then one of my coven members, Julia, absolutely fascinated by the title of this one. I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to pronounce this. Sacramental Theurgy for Witches, Advanced Liturgy Revealed by Frater Barabbas. Frater Barabbas? I'm not sure. And I have seen Hearthwitch talking about a lot of the re-releases of the Frater Barabbas stuff, And I'm thinking it looks quite interesting, and particularly when I'm looking at crafting ritual, which I'm doing now that I'm a very fast and loose coven leader. So having something that's just a little bit more set out, I find really interesting. So going to look at that, and then you know that bit when I said don't buy the heaviest book of the day in the very first bookshop. Yeah, so first bookshop of the day was Atlantis. Amazing. Loved it. And I saw this book, which I first saw online a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that. And man, have I been hanging my nose on it. So it is, even picking it up is a bit of a hoof. There we go. And this is The Moon and Serpent Bumper Book of Magic by Alan Moore and Steve Moore. Now, if the name Alan Moore is ringing some vague bells, it might be because you know him as the person who wrote V for Vendetta and Watchmen and like so many really amazing graphic novels. He's one of the finest graphic novel authors alive today, but he's also an amazing magician. If you can see any, do a little search and look up Alan Moore on YouTube and see what you get. You probably get a wonderful little interview he gave about the meaning of the word spellcasting and being a wizard and being a writer, which is, it's perfect. But he really, really knows his onions. And the thing that appealed to me about this, I mean, apart from the fact that it's huge, is it's set out like an old Christmas annual. And it's incredibly dense, but it's really easy to read. It's beautifully illustrated. I mean, look at this. Lives of the Great Enchanters. What's not to love? Old Moore's Lives of the Great Enchanters. By that point we get to number 41. Violet Firth. There we go. Prior to that was, I can't read it because I've got the wrong glasses on. But I mean, it's a hefty old weight and it's not cheap. But oh my God, the moment I realised that this was out there, I wanted it. An Alan Moore book on magic, chef's kiss. Really, really wanted it. So that was my haul. All I can tell you is that this big boy was in my backpack, oh my life, almost the entire day. I bought it at like 10 o'clock in the morning. We didn't get back to the hotel until like 6 p.m. and I was carting all of this around in my backpack. Honestly, I was regretting all of my life decisions by the time I got back. But now it's home, don't regret it at all. Gorgeous work, all of them. Cannot wait to read them. They have had to wait a little bit, sadly, because I'm still in the middle of reading and working with Seven Asmon's Goblin Dice. And there will be a review and a chat with Seven coming up. It's amazing. It's all I'm going to say. I'm going to say nothing more than that. But yeah, so I'm currently working on that. But once that's done, I'm going to get stuck into these bad boys. I can't wait. It's going to be great. Anyway, so book haul. Woof. So why did I not take one of those little granny shopping trolleys? I do have one for hauling an amplifier around for work. Why didn't I take that? That would have been so much more sensible than what I did. But, you know, hey-ho, we live and we learn. And next time I'm going to buy books that are a bit lighter. All paperbacks, maybe. That would be quite good. Yeah. Anyway, on we go. So frankly, I don't know if we've actually got time for a positive bit after all of that warbling on about books. But let's give it a go. Anyway, shall we? So, here comes the positive bit! Here comes the positive bit! So, positive bit. It's Beltane! Yes! Well, it's kind of just after by the time you see this video. But it is one of my favourite times of the year. Warmth, sun, baby birds, Buzzing bees! Everything growing like crazy, just brilliant. What is not to like? So I'm going to spare you yet more pictures of my seedlings, but you will sleep better tonight, knowing that all my replanted courgettes have come up, I'm sure. No one tell my kids, though, they bloody hate courgettes. That's zucchini to you, Atlantically oppositional people. I mean, Atlantically oppositional. You're on the opposite side of the Atlantic, not that you object to the concept of the Atlantic or something. Yeah, I could have phrased that better. Sorry. Anyway, no, the thing I want to talk to you about today is, oh my life, and I'm going to make your life so much better with this, Tiny Angry Witch. Okay? Tiny Angry Witch. Now, if you haven't discovered her yet, I highly recommend that you go and follow her channel on whatever your favourite form of social media is. I watch her on Instagram, and the channel brings out one new stop frame animated short about every month. And a Tiny Angry Witch Day is a good day in our household. It's short, it's funny, and it is right on point for viewers of this channel. Okay, so I'm not going to nick the content and glue it into my video, because what I really want you to do is go to their channel, binge the whole lot. There aren't that many, it's fairly new at this point. Like, subscribe, and then send it to your friends, because it is amazing and it will make you laugh. And frankly, I think we could all do with a really good belly laugh nowadays. So I'm going to link the channel from the video description so that you can find it really easily. And I'm going to leave you with this thought. I think that I could do a really, really good Tiny Angry Witch cosplay. Don't you? Yeah, I think that's got to happen. I definitely think that's got to happen. Anyway, so you go watch Tiny Angry Witch. You can say thank you later, because it's amazing. Yeah, have a great weekend. Well, the weekend's gone now, isn't it? Have a great time next week, and hopefully this week will be a couple of videos this week, because I've got other things coming up. If you're interested in the Goblin Dice, there's going to be some more stuff on that. If you're not interested in the Goblin Dice, don't. I'm going to be doing some stuff over on Patreon as well. I do have a video I want to make. I've been threatening to do this for ages, called From the Vaults, which it's going to be a series, I swear, of all of the incredibly rude, mad and unhinged things that people send me, that end up in my YouTube filter, because honestly, until I had a YouTube channel, I didn't believe it. So I thought I would share that with you, and then we can all laugh at it together, because some of them are very unhinged. But the amount of swearing involved means I think that it needs to be on Patreon. So I'm probably going to do that over there, and I'm probably going to do that for all levels of paid membership. So even if you've got like a £1 membership, you should be able to see that. And then I've got some other stuff that I want to do later on, because I want to do a little bit of something about Beltane, despite the fact that I missed it. I missed making a video. I totally intended to do a video on how to celebrate Beltane, and I missed it because I'm an idiot. Sorry, whoops. Anyway, I'm going to do a little bit of something and stick it onto Patreon, so you've got it for next time Beltane comes around. It's the joy of the wheel of the year. Wheels go round. Beltane will come back, and we'll have it there for then. So that's my plan. Onwards and upwards. Have a lovely time. I'll talk to you later. Bye.